The Nintendo Switch has cemented itself as one of the best consoles of all time. Being a home console and a handheld at the same time was revolutionary. When I was a kid, I dreamed about being able to plug my Game Boy Advance into my TV so I could play it both ways. And yeah, the Game Boy player existed, but I didn't know that back then. I just never thought it would be possible to do it as seamlessly as the Switch does it. Like, imagine if you could be playing Pokemon on your GBA in the back seat and then just plop it in a dock when you got home and play it on your TV. Well, get ready for some disappointment. There are unfortunately quite a few bummer parts to this mod. For starters, this is not a beginner-friendly mod. There is quite a bit of soldering and trimming required. If you can solder and have a file, craft knife, and/or flush cutters, this probably won't be too difficult for you to complete. But let's talk about what you have to do to complete it. After you open up your GBA and clean it, you'll have to solder these two ribbon cables to the test pads for all of the buttons on the board. That wasn't too difficult for me, but I did have to go back in later and resolder one of the test pads. The only other soldering you will need to do for this mod is a few wires for power towards the end. It is definitely a lot more soldering than the average Game Boy mod, but it still isn't too difficult for an experienced solderer with some flux. For me, the much more annoying part was the shell trimming. You obviously have to cut a hole for the USB-C port at the bottom, but because this board is so large, it adds a lot of extra thickness. And maybe you can just smush it down and that'll be okay, but that didn't really sit well with me because this is an $80 mod kit and I didn't want to break it. So I spent a lot of time whittling down the back half as much as I could before I called it good enough. Because honestly, I did it for way too long and got barely any progress. It was annoying. Other than the trimming and the soldering, this kit is just a drop-in IPS screen that looks just the same as the regular drop-in kit, and it drops in just like it as well. However, there is a version of this kit that comes without the screen, so you can, in theory, use whatever screen you want. But once you're done modding your GBA, the first thing you might notice is a slight hum coming from your speaker. Maybe it was just my Game Boy or my particular kit, but it's pretty annoying to hear even with the volume all the way down. It's not loud enough for my mic to pick it up, but it's still audible and still annoying. It's just not a great start to a completed build. Other than that, it plays as great as any IPS kit in handheld mode. But you're not really here for the handheld side of things, so let's talk about the dock. The dock is pretty good. I like that it not only has an SNES port, but also a nunchuck port if you want to use the classic console's controllers. Or I guess a Wii nunchuck?
No, but it doesn't. It doesn't work.
Around the back, it's got a USB-C port for power and a micro HDMI port. On top is a well-endowed male USB-C port for easy docking. And yes, it is about as seamless as docking the Switch. But unfortunately, I have much more to complain about from here. Why is this not a full-size HDMI port? There's totally enough space for one. Speaking of having plenty of space, it would have been nice to have a USB-A port for even more controller support. What's nice is you can play this docked without any batteries, but when you're using batteries in handheld mode and go to dock it, is that power from the wall going into the batteries? Is it going to charge my batteries? Is it going to damage my batteries? Should you not use alkaline batteries while docked? To stop complaining for 1 second, because don't worry, I do have more to complain about. The games look fairly good on the big screen. It displays at 720p and is actually an accurate 3x2 instead of a scrunched 4x3 or stretched to 16:9. But here's my biggest problem with this entire mod. The sound gets wildly out of sync. It takes a full 2 seconds for the audio to catch up, and it drives me crazy. Doesn't this drive you crazy? If you want the sound to actually be in sync, you can mute your TV and crank your GBA speaker so you can barely hear it from your couch. This is a pretty decent mod, all things considered, and I know I was a bit harsh on it, but the sound delay alone makes it so hard for me to recommend. I am glad I made it look like my Sword and Shield Switch Lite though. Let me know what you guys think of this GBA Switch kit in those comments down below. If the stuff I mentioned doesn't bother you, I will have a few links to where you can buy this in the description, but fair warning, it ain't cheap. This kit is so expensive that even on AliExpress, it's $79. It's so expensive that it's actually somehow cheaper to buy it on RGRS if you use code Jake and save 10%. In all seriousness, I don't think I've ever seen code Jake make something cheaper than AliExpress prices. You save money on your purchase, I make money off your purchase. Everybody wins. And of course, I'll link to my website where you can buy pre-modded Game Boys from me. They just won't connect to the TV like this one does. If you want to see me mess around with this mod, see more gameplay, and or follow along with my tutorial, check out my video over on the second channel, Jake64. But that's it for me, so like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later, guys. I'm just realizing that this one docks, but the special edition Switch Lite that it's trying to emulate doesn't, because it's a Switch Lite. Anyways.